back to the More YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day. And surprise, surprise, my favourite radio station has rattled my cage. It's been quite a while actually since I've done one of these. I don't listen to it really, if I'm honest with you. I'd rather listen to somebody fart on my eardrum, bare-cheeked. But it has popped up in the social media feeds and I have been made aware of it, so I thought I'd jump on and give my opinion on it. So that famous station we all know that gets a bunch of complete morons together to give clickbait opinions on football matters, that is Talksport, or Talk Shite as we often refer to it too, has come back with a bang. Of course, every other radio station's waxing lyrically about Newcastle United's amazing 4-1 victory against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, but not Talksport. No, they decide to come out and say something ridiculously shit for clicks and interactions, just like I'm giving it to them, but fuck it, let's go for it. So Simon Jordan, one of the king of the bellends of Talksport, decided to turn around and criticise Eddie Howe in terms of, you know, is he the man to actually take Newcastle to that level where they win things? He then compared him to Mark Hughes during the time at Manchester City's transition, which, to be honest with you, I had to check the timestamp on the tweet because I actually thought it was from 2 years ago, and it wasn't. It was from right now, which just shows you the lazy level of punditry and journalism that these idiots are still trawling out, even after all of Newcastle's amazing achievements in such a short space of time. So most of the footballing world after that result that reverberated around the footballing world were waxing lyrically about, you know, the atmosphere in St James's Park, which has never been in question really, even in bad times. You know, the quality of the players, how they've improved, but more importantly, the amazing job that our manager has done to take this football club from relegation fodder to Champions League badasses in such a short period of time. But going back to Jordan's comparing him to that time in Man City's evolution when Mark Hughes was the manager. If you remember, the takeover happened, I think Mark Hughes signed in June or something. The takeover was completed in September of 2008, I think it was 2008. So they went and bought a glut of players, you know, Shea Given went there, and, you know, Gareth Barry and Joe and Tevez and all these other players. That was Man City just spending money like it was going out of fashion. We can't do that thanks to FFP and thanks to our ownership being under the microscope consistently. So what Eddie Howe has done, in difference to Mark Hughes, coming to this football club, yes, we've spent circa 200-300 million quid, but it needed to be spent. It needed to be spent. The club was completely underinvested in, not just in the playing staff, everywhere around the ground, the city, the training complex, you name it. Mike Ashley skimped and scraped and didn't spend a penny, really. He spent a penny to get back a pound from this football club. He was a disgrace as an owner. But the football team and the playing staff, more importantly, was massively in need of investment. It was short in so many areas. The squad was as thin as a Rizzler paper, it really was. So we had to beast the squad out. They've signed amazing players, there's no doubt about that, but for very, very reasonable fees. If you look at some of the figures that are going around, I mean, Jesus Christ, just look at Manchester United, for example. You know, blowing up to 100 million quid on Jadon Sancho or more. You know, 70-odd million quid, I think, on Casemiro or whatever it is. You know, 40 million quid, 50 million quid on right backs. You know, what was Anthony? 85 million quid. He's fucking terrible. So, you know, these signings that we made are incredible. You know, Kieran Trippier, 12 million. Dan Burn, 13 million. Nick Pope, 10 million. You know, and then you're looking at Bruno Guimaraes and Sven Botman for under 40 million quid. I mean, these are amazing signings. Alexander Isak, 60-odd million. Even at this market, the way he's playing is a great value for money deal. So the way that Eddie Howe has spent that money, you know, you can't even compare it to Mark Hughes, because he was just getting players thrown at him for massive amounts of money, and he was having to, you know, fit them into a side. But going back to the comparison between the two of them and in the particular evolution of the clubs, this just shows you the lazy lack of research by Talksport. Time and time again, you could grab any fan pundit really and shove it on the Talksport, and if you gave them license to be who they really are and not just be clickbait wankers, they would give you some real home truths about these situations. So Mark Hughes was sacked, I think, just over a year later by Manchester City. Now, in the first season that the takeover was completely finished, 10th, and they sacked him when they were in 8th. Eddie Howe came at Newcastle United when we were rock bottom of the table, and I think he got us to about, was it 14th or something in the first season? The season after that, he gets us to 4th and Champions League qualification. Mark Hughes never achieved anything as good as that. So that's not comparable for fucking one. For number 2, let's look at the win ratio. Mark Hughes' win ratio is 46%. Eddie Howe's is 51%. So there's number 2, where your comparison doesn't carry weight at all. But more importantly than anything else, Mark Hughes did not develop any footballers in that Manchester City squad, in my opinion. You had good players that were signed. There were some good youth academy players that were in there as well, like Stephen Ireland and Mika Richards, and players like that who were already coming on, bursting onto the scene in Big Meeks' case. They were good players. Mark Hughes did not make them a better player. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Look at what Eddie Howe has done with the players that he inherited. Forget about the takeover for a minute. Forget about the 300 million quid that he spent on players. Look at what he's done for Sean Longstaff. Look at what he's done to Mickey Almiron. Look at what he's done to Joe Linton. These players were here before the Saudi money came in, and half of them were written off, not just by other fan bases, but by their own fan base. We thought they were dreadful. We thought they weren't going to kick their own arse in a black and white shirt. Joe Linton's turned into one of the best midfielders in Europe. Miggy Almiron was on fire last season, and he looks like he's still going to do bits this season as well, despite my scepticism even. Look at what he's done for Sean Longstaff. Has gone from being, persona non grata under the Baron of Bacon to being unlucky that he's not in the England squad. Jamal Lascelles, we all said he was shit even at the start of this season. He's come in against Paris Saint-Germain and Mark Kylian Mbappe out of the game. He improves players. Eddie Howe is a brilliant coach, and that's what he does best. Forget the money, look at the basic principles. That man is an unbelievable football coach. And these people in the media, the likes of Simon Jordan, these other fucking wet wipe wanks, do not give the man enough credit for the quality that he has as a coach, right? Where would Alex Ferguson be and Arsene Wenger be under this current media? Could you imagine? It took Ferguson ages to get that winning streak going at Manchester United. And given time, given patience, given support, he then went on to be arguably the best manager of all time. Alex Ferguson wouldn't have even got to that stage under this current, media, witch hunting media, looking to get people out of jobs and get other people in. What manager in world football right now, bar Pep Guardiola, would do a better job at Newcastle than Eddie Howe? Fucking none of them. Absolutely none of them. You can throw your Mourinho's and everybody else at it. None of them would do as good of a job as Eddie Howe. He's a superb manager. If anything, Newcastle should be worried that big clubs in Europe, or bigger clubs in Europe potentially, may come sniffing for him. But he's got a great thing at Newcastle, so why would he leave that? Why would he leave it for the England job? Who the fuck wants that poison chalice? But you need to start respecting the job that the man has done. Arsene Wenger's the same, as I said, under this current media, they would have witch hunted him out of town. He wouldn't have even got the job. Look what happened when Everton tried to employ a good championship manager. The fans were out in the streets, the media, social media were witch hunting, saying, why should he get the job? He's terrible. Arsene Wenger was that guy from Japan when he took the Arsenal job, and he turned them into invincibles, and and he's been the best manager they probably ever had in the whole history. So this meeting, need to back up off these managers and let them time to breathe. Graham Potter at Chelsea is another example. If the media were witch hunting him, what could he have done at Chelsea? Chelsea are still shit under the media darling of Maurizio Pochettino. So do yourself a favour, stop talking bollocks, Talksport, do some research. Credit to Jim White. Jim White pulled him actually and said that he thought he was wrong, so big respect to Jim White for that one. But it's utter garbage journalism, it really is. Eddie Howe is one of the best coaches in world football right now, in my opinion, with the way he coaches that team, the way we're playing. David Moyes called us one of the best teams in Europe, and right now we fucking well are, and that is all thanks to Eddie Howe. So sort your bollocks out, Talksport, and do your job properly instead of being clickbait, Katie Hopkin wankers. That's my thought done on that, guys, and obviously turned into a rant. So apologies if your kids are in the room. We do warn you not to watch it because there might be some fruity language. But if this is the kind of thing you like, smash subscribe, come and join us, like the video, help the channel grow. If you want to be a member as well, you get early access to these rants. So smash that button there. It's less than a pint of lager. Have a cracking day wherever you are, everyone, and we'll see you later. Cheers, bye.